After losing my heart to Baldur's Gate 3 last year, I've been in a bit of a stagnant phase, replaying old games and nothing really new. So imagine my delight when Don't Nod Entertainment released Banishers, Ghost of New Eden this month. A brand new supernatural historical thriller, this is a spiritual successor to the 2018 game Vampire, but packs its own punch as a standalone. In a world where sequels are safe, this is a breath of fresh air along with strong storytelling and mechanics that keep you hooked throughout. As always, I'm only going to use footage from the first couple of hours of play and not give any major spoilers. If you've watched any trailers for this game, then I'm not giving you any more plot than they do. The game is set in 1695 and opens in a small community on the east coast of what is now the US. The town of New Eden has been plagued by ghosts and worse. Enter Antea and Red, two experienced Banishers, a small order of ghost hunters who can get rid of any pesky hauntings for a small fee. Kind of like the Ed and Elaine Warren of the 17th century. Antea and Red are partners in more way than one, but an encounter with a much more powerful spirit leads to tragedy. The two must navigate a broken and spooky world as they try to right the wrongs of the past and kick ass as they do it. Playthrough of this game splits up into the main narrative, open world exploration and side quest hauntings. The latter of these elements was my favourite, as you get to play detective and work out why someone is being haunted, looking for clues and preparing to assign guilt either to the dead or the living. When you're ready, grab your summoning ingredients and call upon the restless soul for a final showdown between haunter and haunted. Deciding who is to blame and their punishment becomes a defining choice of the game and leads to one of 5 endings that go from sad but rewarding to downright brutal. Like in Don't Nod's previous game Vampire, these decisions don't just affect plot, but also the abilities of characters. A lot of thought has gone into the world building of this game, and it gives me flashbacks to studying the Crucible in Year 9, only with less distress. The world is pretty vast, with secrets to uncover and unusual people to meet who come out with gems such as
that useless clackwagger.
I would categorise this game as being open world in a similar way to God of War, in that there are other areas to explore which often only open up when you learn new skills, but without a huge map that you can get lost in. Your main characters of Antea and Red are robust, well thought out and easy to end up caring about. Whiling away a few hours in the forest with them is a positive experience, even with all the dead things trying to kill you. But in creating strong characters like these, I find myself slightly disappointed with the safe angle that developers took. Yes, you swap between Red and Antea throughout the game, but it is very much Red who gets to navigate the world and its inhabitants. How much more of an interesting story could they have told if it had been Antea, a headstrong and powerful black woman who had to face the new world with only the ghost of a Scotsman as her support? In a reality where there are so few people of colour in the gaming limelight, part of me wishes that they'd been willing to take a risk rather than doing what so many games have done before. Looking at games that include specifically black protagonists, AAA and commercially successful games listed mostly fall into 2 categories. Firstly are those where the black protagonist is not the sole main character, such as Grand Theft Auto 5 and all of the recent supermassive horror games. Second are games that are tied into a wider series or collections and therefore can be considered a safe investment even with non-white protagonists. I am by no means saying that all games fall into these 2 categories, nor am I insinuating anything about Don't Nod Entertainment or the choices they make for their games. It's just frustrating to start this game with such potential for something new and different, only to be put back in the safe and easier route. I will say that I am glad to see this game seems to be upsetting a certain part of the internet though, as clearly a strong black woman is too historically inaccurate for their constitutions, but Casper the fucking Ghost on crack cocaine is totally legit. There were also some really well thought out mechanics in this game. During fights, you can switch quickly between Red and Antea for crushing combos. Each character is suited to different styles of play, harnessing Red's classic sword fight style with Antea's spirit powers. The one thing I will say that it is mostly trial and error with these combos is there's no obvious combat list which teaches you different moves. Red also picks up a gun at one point which deals high damage but, accurate to history, can only be fired once before taking time to reload. This means you have to put some thought into how you approach any fight instead of button mashing or taking pot shots. When I'm reviewing games, I always go for the middle ground if there's a difficulty setting, that way I can get a feel for how the game might challenge you, whilst also not getting stuck hacking and slashing for too long. This game's middle ground is a nice mesh of challenge and pace, but seasoned gamers will enjoy some of the more complex requirements if you choose a higher setting. My one negative for mechanics is that in this day and age there is no need for a cursor when navigating menus on a console, it just makes me hate you. Overall, I'm so happy that one of my favourite developers continues to go from strength to strength. Banisher Ghost of New Eden had it all: superb storytelling, atmospheric landscapes, and the best power couple of the 1600s. Is it perfect? No. But does it pack a punch with a mix of new and beloved mechanics? Yes. Long-time gamers and newcomers can enjoy this game, but be warned, you may have to sleep with the light on.